Y'all see the stuff that's due? That quadratic crash course is going to go into the grade book here soon. Quiz Friday. We talked about course selection off to the right. Number 1, first things first, f of x turns into what letter? Does everyone know that this needs to turn into a y? F of x is y. Cool? So let's write that. Y equals x squared minus 3. That's step 1. Step 2, what do I do with x and y? You always switch the order, like every time you're doing inverses. Like for sure this quiz, for sure this coming test, okay, it's all about switching x and y, right? That's what inverse means. So let's switch x and y. So now this is x equals y squared minus 3. So step 1, turn it into a y. Step 2, switch x and y. Step 3, now I got to solve for y. What should I get rid of first on the right side, the squared or the minus 3? The loner, minus 3, has got to go. What's the opposite of minus 3? All right, plus 3, always on both sides. And on the left side, the plus 3 goes after the x. All right. So I got x plus 3 equals y squared. Now this we talked about for sure yesterday. How do I get rid of a square? What's the opposite of square? Square root. Does everyone know this? Square root, square. Okay, so here's how we write it, right, Aiden? All right, so to get rid of that square, we do square root here, and a square root here. The square and the square root disappear. And now we have just y by itself, which is great. Okay. Oh my gosh, hold on one second. All right, so now we can write it as our inverse function format. The inverse function of x is the square root of x plus 3. Okay. If you look at yesterday's warm-up, number 1, we did something like this, but we were just doing like the middle chunk right here, solving for y. The thing that you add on to this is if you start with the function, you switch x and y, and then the final step is to write it as an inverse. Okay. Number 2, though, let's do the same exact steps. Step 1, f of x becomes what? Y. Okay, let's write that down. Y equals x minus 1 squared plus 4. Hey, what do I do next? What happens with x and y? Pencil. Did you? Oh, okay. Switch x and y. Okay, don't forget, switch x and y. Always do that, right? Okay, so y becomes an x becomes a y. So step 3 is solve for y, which is going to, now we're going to figure out what should I get rid of? The minus 1, the squared, the 4. And the answer is we have to get rid of that loner, the plus 4. The opposite of plus 4 is minus 4 here, minus 4 here. You're going to put it after the x, okay? So let's write this down. X minus 4 equals y minus 1 squared. And do I get rid of that minus 1 now or the squared? Squared. Can't get rid of that minus 1 yet. So to get rid of a square, we do the square root. Square root this, square root this, square root and the square cancel out. So I'm going to bring this down. X minus 4. So the square root of x minus 4 equals y minus 1. I almost got y by itself. I got to get rid of that minus 1. What's the opposite of minus 1? Plus 1. All right. And that gives me y by itself, so I can write it as an inverse function. F inverse of x equals the square root of x minus 4. and that +1 goes after. Please notice, -4 is inside, the +1 is not. You cannot combine them. Okay. So again, that's 2 examples of what you're going to do from yesterday. Yesterday, everyone got 5.2 assignment. You can get that 5.2 assignment in the blue bin if you weren't here. Okay. Today is the day. I'm giving you today to finish 5.2. Okay. It's 2-sided. There's 6 questions. You're doing a couple things. You're getting the table. You're graphing it. You're flipping the table. You're graphing it. And then you're doing these things where you're getting the inverse equation. So does everyone have 5.2? If not, you lost it or you weren't here, go get it over that blue bin. And let's get that done, okay? Your grades will be updated, should be today. I'm going to work on getting that stuff you turned in Friday and Monday, okay, so we can get going. We will have probably a test next week, but I'll announce that. First, let's focus on this quiz. Okay, so quiz Friday. Cool. All right, here we go.